first English video. If you like this video, just make sure to tell me in the comments so that I know if you want me to make more videos in English. So today I'm going to first answer the questions of a tag that I found online, which is the bilingual tag. I am not entirely bilingual, but I thought it was something interesting to do in this video. After that, I will be reading a little book in English that I got from McDonald's. So yeah. As in all the beginnings of my videos, I would like to thank all of you for being here and for being supporting. You guys are all so nice to me. It's very, very motivating, so thanks a lot for that. Okay, so let's start. I have got my little notebook as usual. I am still going to remind you that I am pre-filming these videos as I am going to my sister's, and that is why it is still with this microphone. But I will be getting my new microphone soon, so don't worry. But that's why I am going to mainly whisper in this video, so that the sound is okay. So I found this tag on WordPress. I don't know if that's like a blog or something, but yeah. Okay. I didn't get all of the questions, just the ones that I found were interesting. So the first question that I selected was, what languages do you speak and how well do you speak them? So I already said that in my get to know me video, but I speak French. French is my mother tongue because I am French. I also speak English pretty good. I wouldn't say I am entirely fluent, but I understand and I can speak English pretty well. I also am okay at German, but I haven't spoken German in like 2 years because I gave it up after high school, and I am currently, I'm going to be in my 3rd year of license. So yeah, I'm slowly losing my German skills, which is really sad because I did it throughout my entire, throughout middle school and throughout high school. So for I don't know, 6-7 years, I was pretty good at German, even though I thought I was horrible. And since last year, I have been learning Italian, but I am pretty bad at it, so I only have the basics. The second question I selected is, did you grow up speaking both English and French? So, yes and no, I guess. None of my parents or anyone in my family is a native British person or American or anything, so I have learned English pretty much by myself. At my school, we started English in kindergarten, so just the basics, and I have come to know that it's not all of the schools that do that, so I was really lucky that my school started giving us English classes very early on, especially that we had a English teacher and she was British, and I actually found out that in most other schools, sorry about that, that's my dad's phone, even when my dad isn't here, he still makes noise. Anyway, so yeah, in other schools, apparently, they didn't have, if they had English classes, it would be with French teachers, so they don't have the proper accent or anything, so yeah, I was really lucky about that. And actually, when I was little, I didn't like French at all, not as in, I didn't like the French classes, but I didn't like the language. I thought it was very rough, and I wanted, when I first heard English, I thought it was such a soft, music-like language, and I instantly fell in love with it. So as soon as I could read, I started watching was a fan of the Olsen twins, Mary-Kate and Ashley Olsen, and I was watching all of their movies in English with French subtitles, and I would write down in a like vocab notebook, I would write down all of the vocabulary that I didn't know. And I did that since I was like 6 years old up to like, I don't know, 12. And then I had enough vocab because like I was in middle school, right? But yeah, I always loved English, and so I guess I did grow up speaking both French and English because I started speaking English when I was about 5. But that was at school, so I wasn't like, it wasn't at home or anything, you know. But yeah, French, obviously I've always spoken French because I've always lived in France. The third question is, which language do you prefer and why? This is a tough one. I would say I prefer, like it depends in which aspects. Let's say if I'm reading a book, I would rather read a book in French because I find we have more literary vocabulary and I find it more, you know, enriching to read a book in French than in English. But in terms of how the language sounds, I do prefer English because, as I said, I think French sounds a little bit rough. Like for example, in ASMR videos, I much prefer making ASMR videos in English because some of you guys have said that when I talk I am a little bit rough, and I feel that's also because, you know, French is full of b and all of that, and it's a bit rough, that's all. And yeah, I've always thought that English was like music to my ears, you know, and it is a little bit easier. You don't have to think that much when you speak English, while in French, you know, sometimes you have to think, okay, what am I saying? Is that a feminine word? Or stuff like that. Like, it doesn't always come naturally, some sentences, even though I am French. So that's tough because I don't really know which one I prefer because French is still my mother tongue, so I obviously like French. But as in speaking, as in how the language sounds, I do prefer English. And yeah, in terms of me speaking the language, I like it better when I speak English, but what is kind of annoying is that sometimes I don't have the words, you know, I don't have the vocabulary, so then French is easier. But yeah, that's my answer to this. The fourth question is, which language do you speak in mostly? So that depends, once again. If I am in France, I am obviously going to speak French more, except when I am on Skype with my boyfriend, or like if I'm texting him or something. And if I am in Canada, then I am mostly going to speak English, and I am only going to speak French on Skype with my parents or my friends. So yeah, that depends where I am, basically. The fifth question is, do you prefer watching movies in your first or second language? And I have no hesitation on that one. I hate movies in French. I just know. There are a few exceptions. For example, I can't watch Disney movies that I have watched in my childhood. I cannot watch them in English. And I can't watch Harry Potter in English either, because that's just my childhood, you know. But other than that, I cannot stand French in movies. Oh, I also can watch The Winx in English, obviously. But you know, stuff like that in my childhood, like, I just associated the cartoon with the French voices, but other than that, I hate it. I always watch in English. Sometimes I put French subtitles, sometimes I put English subtitles, and sometimes I don't put subtitles, but I do prefer to have either French or English subtitles, just because, you know, in case I didn't hear something, it's just easier that way, but I prefer it in English most of the time. Do you code switch? So code switching means it's kind of hard to translate triggers or tingles or tapping, you know, like, so you just say it in English. That's what I mean when I say that. I sometimes still can't find my words in French when I switch from English to French, so yeah, I do code switch quite often. The seventh question is, what advice would you give to become bilingual? So as I said before, basically listening to a lot of, so whatever is the language you're trying to get bilingual in, yeah, listening a lot to that language, in movies, in series, and all of that. Just put it in the language you want to be bilingual in. Put subtitles, write down words that you don't know, and just practice every day. Just listen to it. Your brain will just process it easier if you just practice very often. Sorry about the noises, I don't know what's going on today. So yeah, just practice. That's my only advice, because that's what I did ever since I could read, and that's why I would say now I have a pretty authentic accent, is because I have listened to American English accent ever since I can remember. And if I would have been a fan of Harry Potter or something like that in British English, I believe I would have had a British accent, but because my thing was the Olsen twins, I have an American accent. The eighth and last question is, do you have more friends that speak your first or second language? And that's quite easy. I have more friends that speak French than English, because I do not have any friends who speak English besides my boyfriend. All of my friends are French and they speak French, but I'm hoping that once I move to Ottawa, I will make friends, and so they will speak English, but who knows, maybe they will be from Quebec and then they will speak French. We'll see. Let's just hope I make friends. Okay, so that's it for the bilingual tag, and now I'm going to be reading this little book, which is Scaredy Squirrel at Night. And I know that this word, squirrel, is a very hard word to pronounce in English for French people. It took me a lot of practice. So yeah, I got this book from McDonald's in Canada. I think it does say mcdonalds.ca. You know how French people say McDo? Like, we would never say, oh, let's go to McDonald's. That's just so ridiculous. And when I told my boyfriend that we say McDo and we never say McDonald's, he was like, that makes no sense, it's McDonald's. And I'm like, that makes perfect sense. When I went to Australia, Australians would say Macca's, and that really confused me, because why? Like, McDo makes sense, because it's the short version, but why Macca's? Like, the boards would literally say Macca's. It's interesting. I'm a professional expert in fast food, apparently. Okay, so let's start. It says, warning, Scaredy Squirrel insists that everyone check under their beds before reading this book. Scaredy Squirrel at Night by Melanie Watt. Scaredy Squirrel never sleeps. He'd rather stay awake than risk having a bad dream in the middle of the night. A few creatures Scaredy Squirrel is afraid of could appear in a bad dream. Dragons, fairies, ghosts, vampire bats, unicorns, polka dot monsters. So he's very determined to stay awake by keeping busy all through the night. Scaredy's nighttime to-do list. First, count stars. Should keep you occupied for a while. Second, play cymbals, loud scrapbooking keeps you well organized and productive. So night after night, after night, after night, Scaredy avoids sleeping, but side effects of sleepless nights may include energy loss, moodiness, poor reflexes, forgetfulness, drowsiness, hallucinations, confusion, and exhaustion. That's when Scaredy Squirrel comes face to face with something very alarming. Horoscopes. So I'm gonna say all the signs, but Scaredy Squirrel's sign is Libra. Aries, you can climb mountains. Taurus, take the bull by the horns. Libra, get ready. At midnight, all your dreams will come true. Scorpio, look out or you'll be stung. Gemini, 2 heads are always better than 1. Cancer, claw your way to success. Sagittarius, aim for your goals. Capricorn, that's mine. You're halfway there. Leo, you're the king of the jungle. Virgo, spread your wings and fly. Aquarius, go with the flow. And Pisces, there are plenty of fish in the sea. So let's keep in mind that Scaredy Squirrel's sign says, get ready, at midnight all your dreams will come true. There's not a minute to lose, as it is 11:43. It's time to prepare for the worst. A few things Scaredy Squirrel needs to face his bad dreams. Safety cones, fan, teddy bear, decoy. Sign, pillow and blanket, molasses, fire extinguisher, banana peels, cupcakes, and a spotlight. The bad dream action plan. Molasses will slow down a unicorn in a sticky situation. Fairies have a sweet tooth, distract them with cupcakes. Polka dot monsters can't spot banana peels, watch them slip and slide. Dragons are a huge fire hazard, so keep extinguisher in tree. Not a fan of ghosts, start the breeze and they'll be blown away. Place sign upside down so bats can read it. Creatures think I am sleeping here, but it's actually there. Important, these creatures avoid light, hide behind spotlight, switch it on at midnight and creatures will disappear. Remember, if all else fails, play dead until sunrise. So Scaredy Squirrel gets into position. As he counts down to midnight, his bad dreams seem to come true one by one. But when he turns on the spotlights, hungry intruders appear. This was not part of the plan. Scaredy Squirrel panics. He steps in the molasses. He stumbles over a safety cone. He slips and slides on a banana peel. He lands on the pillow and plays dead and falls asleep. And he's sleeping 1 hour later, 2 hours later, 2 hours later. 8 hours later, the Scaredy Squirrel finally wakes up. Benefits of a good night's sleep may include energy gain, will see you in my next video.